that you think is an absolute 100% certainty, then do tweet us. Now, to my left, I've got Joanna. Good evening, Joanna.
Good evening, Peter.
Yeah, you're going to be asking all the relevant questions, I hope, to this a very young panel. Look at the faces.
Great to see a young panel with us tonight. Yeah, fantastic.
And I know people on YouTube will go, oh, these people don't know what they're talking about. But I bet you guarantee every one of those will pick out winners.
I think they will too. Yeah, it's just
no
fantastic.
pressure then, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam, welcome aboard. You're going to keep us updated with all the market movers, all the prices.
Yeah, got plenty to talk about. You know, I think as much as I'm the biggest Willie Mullins fan, there are other trainers out there we'll be talking about tonight, I can assure people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Joe, good to see you as well. Just tell us a bit about you. If people first time are looking at Joe D'Souza, think, what does he do?
What does he do? He loves horse racing.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. We're going to try and find some winners. I do have a bit of a background in horse racing, having worked at a few race courses in various roles in my time. Sound very old there. Yeah, looking to take it up a step and looking to try and find some winners. I think I know the horse racing industry a bit better than I did 2 years ago, so
okay,
might stand me in good stead.
Now we've got on the end of the panel here, we've got Atty, who was on Racing UK.
Yeah.
And tell us a bit about what you was on there for.
I got through to the final of the Tipstar competition, so we went to Kempton and we had to preview and review a race live on TV, which was a little bit nerve-wracking, but
fantastic.
Yeah.
And tell us, on the final day, you was down to, like, was it the 4-horse race or 5-horse race at the end? And you picked a second?
Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my tip ran an absolute shocker. So I kind of had to forget about that and just move on and move on up, so to speak.
And where did your love of horse racing come from, Hattie?
Well, I mean, Plumpton's my local track, and I've been going to Plumpton since I was like 4 or whatever. I don't actually have much background in the racing industry, but I'm very passionate about the sport, and that's what I want to get into.
And that's what it's all about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Joanna and I don't know, I mind saying that we're middle-aged. We're below middle-aged, aren't we?
We're veterans.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's nice to have young people involved.
Veterans chasers for you too, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Right, we did focus earlier on the Value Racers Class Act, the Arkle. So what we're going to take a look at on the first day now is the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Duvan.
Let's get it beat.
Let's get it beat. Are we going to get it beat?
Well, listen, I like the horse, I like the trainer, but let's not forget, this horse, I still don't think it's a stone certainty to be in this. I wouldn't have the horse in this race necessarily. I don't like the fact that the ground is going to be against the horse in my book. People are saying it could be better on that sort of ground. I just think it's a good horse on the ground. It's been racing out at home. The gallops at home as well are going to be softer rather than better because they're in Ireland. You've got to look at the knee action of the horse. I'm still not sure it's beaten that much, and I just think at the prices, I would rather be against it than for it. I also think you've got to remember that Alain Combiers, before the horse sadly passed away, if that horse had been half decent, surely this horse wouldn't be favourite for the Supreme Novices.
So which other horses do you think it compares to, Sam?
Well, I look at it on its merits, and it jumps really well. I think that's fair to say. I can't have any complaints about that. But there's just something saying that, you know, people expect short price Willie Mullins favourites to win every single race. He's come out and said he'll be happy with 1 or 2. He doesn't expect to win all 4. This standard of racing is so competitive, and there is a little bit of depth to this race. And I'll go on to some a bit later that I like, but I'll let the other two have their say on Duvan.
Yeah, Duvan, Joe.
He's a very nice horse. I do think he moves very, very well. You can say what you want about the ground. Quite a few of these have been told that they'll come on a lot for the good ground or the better ground we're going to have next week. But you can make that argument about quite a few of these. I think no way is he certainty, and 7 to 4 is a very short price, and so there are no bankers at Cheltenham, especially. I wouldn't rush to back him at that price, but I do think he doesn't have the form. The only good form he has in the book is this beating of Sizing John, who then subsequently won a Grade 1. So that form reads really well. Sizing John could also be in this lineup, and I'd expect that form to stay that way.
What gets me about these races, and I look through all the form of all the Willie Mullins horses, it's amazing how many horses that finish placed behind them go on to win. I mean, you talk about Sizing John, Mogam's another one that there's won since.
But then what have they won?
Well,
you know,
but they've won at good prices, that's the price.
Sizing John won a Grade 1.
It was quite a weak Grade 1, though, I'd say. I wouldn't take it as...
Well, that was at Gorham Park, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was I think we've seen stronger Grade 1s this year, and I wouldn't take that as a massive plus.
So bearing in mind, Hattie, that last year Vautour, I think, went off at 72 joint favourite. we've got Duvan here who hasn't done as much as Vitor,
No.
and it's 30 to 8, 6 to 4.
I can't see it really. I think a lot of it is this hype around Mullins' horses. I think because it's trained by Mullins, everyone just looks at it and think he's going to win, isn't he? Just because of Valtor and Forheen last year. Yeah.
The yard vibes have been really positive as well. You know, there's been plenty of talk, and talk doesn't win you the Super Novices hurdle, but what I would say is it's clearly been working well. You know, Woody's been quoted as saying it's going to be one of the nicest horses he's ever brought over. But there's so many other horses in the race that I think we should focus on aside from Duvan. I'm not saying it won't win. I'm saying at the prices I won't be backing it.
What about the Army Serge then? This is the one that interests me quite a bit, the price.
Likewise, yeah, I remember watching him at Sandown when he beat Jolly's Cracked It, disposed of him quite readily, and Jolly's Cracked It is not a bad horse, 5th in the Betfair. I think Lamo Serge is one who will definitely improve for good ground. I know I said there's probably a few that it's been said they would. I think he definitely will. He'll be several pounds better off on good ground. I think he's definitely one that can lay down a challenge to Duvan.
I think, with Duvan, you know, we haven't seen him come off the bridle yet, have we? So, you know, it'd be interesting to see how he does. Lamy Serge, yeah, I mean,
what do you think about Lamy Serge?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I mean, he's had some really good horses in behind him. Violet Dancer, who went on to win the Betfair Hurdle, and then Kilcooley came out and then won a handicap by 23 lengths off a mark of 137. I mean, that's not bad to have
my
him
notes.
in behind him. And I think if you look at the form of his wins, then he should be favourite, really.
And it's fair to say, actually, you're absolutely spot on, because if my records are correct, Duvan in France was rated 116. In France, Lamy Serge was rated 134.
Lamy Serge had a few more runs though.
Yeah, but listed races as well. Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
My argument, I'm going to say, out of the two, I would personally, at the prices, rather be playing Lamy Serge, because I think 4 to 1's a nice little steal. If you just think the horse is going to get a place, you've got your money back, haven't you? If you go like that,
nothing,
yeah, if you take it that way. Some people don't like betting like that. What my concern would be, I've watched the tapes back a few times on Lamy Serge, and the turn of pace is clearly there, and I understand that the argument about better ground could really see that to good effect. I don't like the way this horse doesn't seem to get more than 3 hurdles without, not necessarily clipping one, but the way the horse can jump out a little bit right or left, to my eyes anyway. Now, I'm no horseman, I've not ever sat on a horse, but just when I watched that
back...
back...
like a jockey, though.
I'm not light enough, unfortunately, to be... couldn't do low weights, but I just watched the tapes back, and I'm just not 100% sure. I mean, Nicky Henderson will have had this horse schooling well, I'm sure, you know, and if the jumping is there, I think this horse beats Duvan. And I say that as someone that's usually quite often a fan of Willie Mullins over Nicky Henderson. But my concern is around the jumping, and I think if you don't jump well, you're not going to win the Super Novices. You can have the best turn of foot in the world, but you're not going to be there or thereabouts.
You have to get into a rhythm. I think that's the key thing, and Vitor really did last year.
Yeah,
early doors,
clinical.
straight away. And you look at who's up against Irving, who just didn't get into a rhythm, and that's part of the reason why he fell away. Vitor really did, and it's such a key thing here. And if Lamy Serge, I'd hope his jumping has improved since Sandown. There was a bit to work on.
So you do agree that there's possibly a little bit of a hole there?
Yes, a slight one. Yeah, he didn't take everyone straight and narrow over each one, making the perfect
Which is
shape.
fair at their age. You know,
exactly.
this is
a
the
novice
thing.
hurdle.
You know, I think we forget that sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, they are still learning, and maybe a little bit green. You know, haven't settled quite. Lamy Serge does jump off to the left. Will it make a difference?
Or a left-handed track.
Well, I wouldn't really say around Cheltenham, really.
He's got the best man for the job on top as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Ruby Tuesday.
Okay. The other one was Jolly Allen, who's at the forefront of the betting. He was last seen behind Gardner Victoire at Sandown. I mean, I know Bristol and LeMay was a little bit behind. Let the form down a little bit. I mean, I think it's more of a chaser for the future, to be honest with you. And most of them are when they come into this race anyway. I mean, we had Josh is still in this race last year, and we've got Serge and Reckless who are in a race we're going to talk about later. Jolly Allen? Yeah, so many, yeah.
Interesting. I just noted something when I went back through their form. Jolly Allen and Lamy Serge have both faced Rich Ritchie horses. Sepa Medici was the one that Jolly Allen faced. And I just wonder if Mullins has got a bit of a line on both of those, which would be interesting. Jolly Allen itself, the horse, I can't take anything away from that battling display at Sandown. That really impressed me, I thought.
I was actually a little bit disappointed because I thought he had the race for taking. And I thought he was going to go on and win that, and I was disappointed that he didn't do that.
Did you feel the horse was then ungenuine in the way, or
I don't know, there was just something. It felt to me that there was something missing with him.
Okay. But this is where I raised the question again. Was it the ground that day? Did he just not going up the hill at Sandown, albeit not as steep as Cheltenham, did he just not find that necessary extra gear because of the ground?
I think he'll improve as well with his jumping on better ground.
Yeah. He's one for me that races very keenly. He still looks very immature. He's only had a handful of runs. He really is a novice.
Could really blow his mind in this sort of event.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush to back. I've got 8 mainly across the board here. I wouldn't rush to back that.
Okay.
What price are we looking at, Jolly Allen?
9-1 with William Hill as the standout at the moment.
Yeah.
We can get the same on the exchanges.
The board.
Okay.
We've got QE, which is very smart on the flat, actually. I think it was a sort of definitely running Group 3s, won a listed race. What do you think about that? You've all gone quiet on that one.
Yeah, that's my thoughts. No,
Take a positive look at it. The form was franked at the weekend.
Yeah.
The third from that Newbury run came out and won quite well. But it's not for me. It's a massive step up.
I don't
He's
like
not
the profile
very
of the horse.
experienced, really,
No.
over hurdles, and I wouldn't want to back him off the back of that.
Okay, well, we've got at the top of the market, we've got Duvan, Willie Mullins horse. We've also got a couple of others. We've got Shane's Hill and a Physio Ville, who may well go for another race, but I think it's 4-1 for the Neptune. That is an interesting one. I don't think it'll run in this race.
I think Nicholas Canyon.
Nicholas Canyon.
Sorry, Nicholas Canyon, I'm sorry.
I like that horse, and that's the one that I think possibly there could be the wrong way around, but then I'm not a champion trainer like Willie Mullins, so what do I know? But
Nicholas Canyon is a horse that I've heard quite a few Irish journalists say he could just go any distance.
Yeah.
He could even be in the Albert Bartlett and do well in it, as well as the Neptune or the Supreme.
I wonder if versatility may mean that the class isn't actually there for the horse to be a top horse.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, Hattie, do you think Willie Mullins will go, right, I'm just going to have one in this race, or do you think he'll stick a couple in?
I think he'll stick a couple in. I mean, he may have avoided them throughout the season, but these are the championship races and he wants to win them. So if he's got 2 good horses that he thinks are going to be able to have a good go at it, why wouldn't he put them both in?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I think, Duvan for Willie Mullins is going to be the real deal.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you know what?
I don't.
Last year I backed Wicklow Brave and had egg on my face because got beaten, but I may do the same and go for Visio Ville at the prices if this horse turns up in this race.
Is there anything else in this race that you've looked at this race and thought, because I think with this particular race, it's like all the sort of grade 1s and things like that, it does cut up a little bit and you end up, you know what I mean, with a lot of rags in the race. Is there anything else in this race that you've looked at and gone, right, as an outsider, I quite like this, Joe?
No.
No?
I like Seedling.
Right, okay.
I
Great
saw-
tricks.
Yeah, I saw him at Plumpton on bottomless ground and I thought, oh, he did well, kind of thing. And then he came out at Cheltenham and that was when he really impressed me. He wasn't very well fancied on the day. I think he went off 5-1 in quite a small field. But the way he did it, I was really impressed with him then and I'd be really happy to see him back at Cheltenham.
You like a big price? Anything at the prices?
I like a Visio Ville, but
You like short prices as well,
I
must
like
say.
it. I'm guilty of both.
Sam likes any price.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe
A
not
winner's a
even.
winner.
Yeah.
A winner is a winner. A Visio Ville, if the horse went for this race, would interest me. I'm not drawn to have a huge bet in this race, but of the front 2 in the market, I'd be having Lammy Serge every day of the week over Duvan at the moment.
Okay.
So that's just the way I feel on it.
In terms of the JP runners here, so you've got Jolly Allen and Alvisio Ville. Who does AP ride if they both go? Just speculating.
I'd be amazed if he gets off Visio Ville. We forget how well backed that horse was over in Ireland when he disappointed to some people's opinions, but the word was out after the race that they were still very happy with the horse.
See, I think that Vinzo Phil is definitely a chaser for the future. I think it was outclassed last time, and it's got absolutely no chance of it running this race.
I think he'll also want further as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think he'd be ridden differently. I mean, look.
I mean, it's an absolutely massive horse.
I'd be
Yeah,
surprised though
great.
if AP turned up. I think he's got a choice between the 2. I don't think there'd be a lot in it. I don't think it's as big a difference as the prices suggest.
Okay, right. Neck on the line job time. Joanna.
Duvan all the way for me.
I've talked myself into Lammy Serge, even though I said I don't like the jumping, so I'm a bit concerned, and I have a saver on a Visio Ville each way if he turns up.
Saver, it's 4-1.
A
Just
Visio
one,
Ville?
Sam.
No, I mean Lammy Serge.
Oh, no, Lammy Serge is each way bet to nothing, isn't it? It's going to be in the placings.
Okay, Joe.
I agree. Lammy Serge will be in the placing. Henderson doesn't win this race, does he? Always finishes second.
Good point.
Lammy Serge probably at the prices, but there's nothing that really sticks out to me in this.
Okay, Hattie.
I'll probably go Lammy Serge and then Seedling each way.
Okay, so it's a lay for Duvan?
Yeah,
Lay for
take it
Duvan?
on.
Don't lay class.
Yeah, lay.
It's not class yet.
You're going for
I'm
that?
going for it. Yeah, definitely going for it.
Right. Whoever talks
It's the real
sense.
deal for me.
The real deal.
for Willie's. The real deal for me.
I don't think it's beating anything. I really don't believe it's beating anything. This will. I think Leanne with Serge is the one, and it's a very interesting race indeed.